Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me on this workshop. I will present it in English, but in case anyone have any questions, feel free to ask me. The topic of today's workshop is painting my way, not just my way, but my idea of painting airplanes with the help of texture templates. Because I see airplanes as like working machines, not as a museum pieces. So during any kind of conflict, the ground staff doesn't have time to, polish the airplane or take care of paint. So of course, paint gets dirty and accumulates dust, dirt, scratches, whatnot. And of course, we want to represent our models to pretty much look like they looked on a battlefield. So in order to achieve this, I usually try to make that happen just with paint alone. And then for the following weathering is just the final touch, because you can achieve a lot with paint, all the dirt, grime, speckling, small mottles, discoloration, distemperament of paint. It can be done with an airbrush, which is easy. If you mess it up, you can fix it up. It's easy to repair. It's easy to mend, which is not so if you mess it up with oil washes at the end, because it's really hard to go back. So I start the weathering process with painting alone. So usually we all know the pre-shading, which is actually just trying to enhance panel lines and different things on the, let's say, panel lines, openings, folds on the aircraft by simply spraying darker shades, let's say black in most cases, onto the panel lines, and then covering that up with a camouflage color. But that effect is not really something that nowadays modelers or judges don't like. So this is a bit of a cheating. These are the texture templates. They look strange, but it's really nice item to have if you are airbrushing. So usually I will just start with airbrushing and you'll see what will happen. So usually I won't start with the camouflage paint. Camouflage paint is something that will cover most of the paint that was sprayed through the texture template. So to achieve an effect, the desired effect, it's good to have a really dark color. In this case, I will use black. But if you are, let's say, working on a light green aircraft, I would use dark green, not black. And I will use white or really light gray for the highlights. So I have primed my model. So after this, I will have 3 different shades of paint over which the consequent camouflage color will be airbrushed. So that's it. I will start with black. These paints are ones that I'm using, which are pre-diluted. So it's a case of just pouring it in and start spraying, but I will just show you now. So usually modelers will do, is it seen? This is my test mule. Usually classic pre-shading is actually just going over the panel lines with dark black. I'm doing it really fast. Of course, if you're making a model, it takes much more time. This is, let's say, pre-shading, and then you will feel just the insides of between that black lines with paint, which is not an effect that we want to achieve. So with texture templates, you will find it's much more effective to do. So you get a lot of variation just by using one single paint for the start. And we will combine that with black, white, gray, and we will shoot camouflage color over that so we will see the effect. So let's start with black. It's good to have different ones because sometimes those patterns can repeat themselves, and even though you think you won't see them, you will see them at the end. Sorry for the smell, these paints are really smelly. So I will just use these texture templates. And you can adjust the, let's say, how dark or light this effect is. So this is, let's say, pretty much enough for now, but I will still do some highlights, like a fake pre-shading over some areas, just to see. Just here and there. So this is the first step. And now it's time to change the paint. Let's be fast. You don't need to like really clean it thoroughly because we will just use a lighter shade. This is white in this case, but you can use, let's say, I wouldn't use white. This is just for demo purposes. And I will again use the white is, sometimes it doesn't cover well, so you have to do it over and over and over. But it's good. Sometimes it's even better, so you have much more control while doing it. So let's say for lighter, for like flaps, I will just lighten a bit the areas because they were usually fabric covered, so it's good to add some variations of that paint. And maybe do some highlights here and there with white. So this is now.
You can also check this.
This is now okay. This is now like the first step. You see, it's not pre-shading. There's like a lot of stains, lots of things going on in the paint. And now we will start covering that up with the camouflage colors. Okay. Well,
Sorry, I can tell one hack tips.
Yes.
To put a towel, paper towel into the box, then it will consume.
I don't use this at home. This is the first time I'm using this.
Yeah. Just maybe for people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Now it's the time for the camouflage colors. So in this case, because it's a German plane, I will use classic combination of RLM 74 and 75. Any questions so far?
Everything fine.
Everything fine? Igor?
I have a
Please?
question about these templates.
Yes.
As a kind of acrylic, vinyl, is it?
Anything.
It should be elastic.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can clean them, they clean easily, you know. I just spray from time to time, you just spray a bit of, let's say, thinner, like a nitro or something, but it doesn't really matter, you know. They're really, really cheap.
Are these from plastic?
Yeah, it's
Or metal?
plastic, so they're flexible. It's good that they're flexible. I had metal ones, but they're hard to bend, you know, especially if you want to try to do it, it's easier to fold them over like this, you know. Metal ones, you fold them once and you can't fold them back, so I have this for, I don't know, for 5 years.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it's really useful, you know. Maybe if we'll have enough time, we'll try to do weathering through them. So I will try to shoot oil paints and see what happens, just for experiment. I don't know, never tried it. Okay, moving on. So in order to this thing to work, we have to use really diluted paint, because we want to create light layers of final paint, but still allowing that effect to show through. If you will overdo it, you will just cover everything with it. So it wouldn't help. And these are actually really, really nice and thin already, but still we can just use a bit more, which I'm not going to. Just slowly build up the paint. I will usually wait like a minute or two from time to time, because when paint is dry, while paint is wet, it has different opacity. When it dries up, then it becomes like opaque as it should. So it's good to wait for just move to another section of the model and
How much PFI do you use?
20, but that depends on the airbrush. I like this.
Hear too much sound from
Yeah, this one is really, it doesn't use a lot of pressure, so that's why I like it.
It's Aeroplane 3, yeah.
I think it's 2.28. This is the new evolution. I'm using it for the first time, so it's good so far. It works. But you know, 0.3 I think is the most universal needle nozzle combo for scale modeling. I think so far this looks okay. But still, I like to, when I'm doing a base paint, I really usually make my base paints really like lightened up quite a lot, because the washes and weathering that it will follow, subsequently it will darken the model, like really by a lot. And it's easier to make it even darker if you're not satisfied with the weathering, but it's really hard to make it lighter. When you're done with your weathering and the model looks too dark, it's really hard to go back, to make it look a bit lighter, you know. But you can always make it darker, so it's good to start with the lighter base colors and then just build up the contrast and darkness and lights and shadows. But I will not, of course, I don't use white, it really rarely. So for this kind of paints, I will usually go with really light gray, or maybe sometimes even sandy or beige color, because white is just doesn't work. So, and for, let's say, for German aircrafts, I will use the bottom color for the upper colors, because they will bind them together, because there's the same pigment at the end in all three of them, so it visually looks like connected. It's like simple method for mixing paint. It's just to close down the nozzle and wait the bubbles to start.
It's very interesting that you can do this with this airbrush from Hardman.
Why?
I have an Ultra and it splits immediately out everything.
Maybe because you're using too much pressure, so it shoots back.
More than one bar, but it's crazy. For example, other airbrushes that I have, other brands, I can do this game, and I could actually mix the thinner with the paint inside.
With not this one. Strange.
Not with the Ultra. With this, I'm really pleased to see.
Yeah, so let's lighten this up just a bit. It won't be perfect, but you know, we are doing this fast at home. It will usually take me like a couple of days, like a good, I don't know, 15-20 hours of painting. I'm trying to do that in 2 hours, so it's a bit too white, too light, but you know, and if it looks too dark for you, just can now fade that, lighten it from the distance, so you will make everything toned down. Here it's a bit too much, but it's a test mill. Sorry, fast. See ya. And I will just do the second camo, which it's sometimes hard to do because most of those airplanes had not sharp and not like really soft demarcation lines. So I would usually use paper, or let's say not masking tape, but paper mask, which is just slightly lifted from the surface, and that with that you will get kind of semi-soft demarcation line. And you would usually just, you know, use piece of paper and piece of, let's say, poster gum, like a blue tack, and you will roll it. I would do like like a noodle.
It's warm and
Yeah. Or sometimes like using Tamiya tape also works. Just roll it up and place it on. So you can now adjust like the height of the mask, of the paper mask. So I just place it over here. And you will see like the model is not, the mask is not like, it's like a really tiny gap between the mask and the surface that we'll paint. And, sorry. And always shoot away from the mask. Never go inside, always try to paint away. So, because the spray will just go here and not crawl back under the mask. So. And just apply light layers. And I will do this side first, and then I will just recycle this mask on that side, so saves time. So you see, you get this semi-soft transition. It's not sharp, and it's not like a classic one, which looks like this. Sometimes I would do it freehand, but you need like steady hand and a really good airbrush, so you can do some really tight lines. But this is like a really nice and easy trick to use actually. So let's reuse this for this side. We'll just leave a little bit of gap here. And that will create, like, the higher this gap, the bigger this gap is, the softer will the transition be. So you can play around.
But also the danger that you have a limit.
Yeah.
If you spray too much inside.
And you see, I'm not flooding the model with paint. It's just using light layers and gradually building up the coverage. It's no need to flood everything, because thick paint just doesn't help. And you have messy surface then at the end. So. And I could, again, lighten this shade, but I think it looks pretty okay. You can now go back and forth, add light and darken, whatnot, but when you're satisfied, it's good to stop and step back. Maybe return the next day, reevaluate and reassess, and then correct a few things. But if you are satisfied, then it's okay. At this point, I will usually just put a coat of clear coat, but not gloss coat. Maybe I will use gloss coat for decaling, but after decals, I will seal them with semi-matte or matte varnish, because it's easier, and I don't know, washes and weathering, and weathering itself is really better looking over the semi-flat surface than the gloss. If you're doing the weathering on the gloss surface, all the dirt will only stick up into the panel lines and crevices, and that's it. When you wipe it away, the dirt will only be in the panel lines and not on the surface. But if you're using like a semi-matte or matte varnish, then you can manipulate oils and washes with much more precise, and you can blend them and add some more variety. So I already prepared it on this side. So because of course these paints need, although they are dry to the touch, they are not like fully dry. It's good to leave them for like 24 hours before attacking them with.
Which varnish you advise?
Not water-based.
No.
No. Acrylic is okay. I use MRP paints I don't know, since they entered the market, and I really like them. Especially, I tried a lot of different clears, a lot of different paints, but I really like the way how they behave. And let's say clears are really tough. Really tough. You can soak them in, I don't know, odorless thinner, and you can scrub them with paper towels or earbuds, and they will just not budge. They're really rock hard. And it's a good thing because you can do them in really light layers, so you don't need to flood the surface. With the new like VMS ones, they actually advise you to flood the model with and then wait until it dries, but I'm not really sure how that works.
I never tried the MRP varnish, but I will.
These are really good. And you know, you get like gloss and matte varnish.
And you have to mix them.
Nothing between?
No, this one they have. You can mix them up, but they mix them up like you have semi-matte, matte, satin, semi-gloss, and gloss. So you have like 5 steps of varnish. And I will only use gloss coats, like gloss varnish, for sometimes before decals. Before decaling, if I know that the decals are really bad. You know, with Edward or Cartograph or well-known brands, this surface is like smooth.
Yeah. The see-through is already a little bit like shiny.
Yes, because it's the paints themselves are semi-shiny, semi-gloss. But if you think they are not okay, you can still. This is like a sanding sponge. It used to be 3,000 grit. Probably now it's like 15,000 grit because I'm using it all the time, just for polishing the paint. You know, when I would go over everything after the paint. I will shoot primer and I will just sort of polish it, and you can feel it by the touch that it's smoother. And also on this paint, I can now, maybe it will do some stains, but see, I can polish this paint right away after painting, and it is getting like smoother and smoother. But you need to use like really well-worn sanding sponge. And even by sanding now, we can create some kind of damage of the paint without even starting washing it. But that's just, you know, that's personal preference of each and every one. How damaged surface do you want? But it's shiny now, so I would normally now place decals, seal everything with flat coat or semi-matte coat, and I prepare this on this side. This is well done. So now we can actually start weathering it because we have a lot of time. So we'll try to do as much as we can.
So,
Yeah, sorry. I know. Just give me I have to clean the airbrush like really fast because. So feel free to ask questions. But this is not, as I said, this is not like universal truth. You know, you have to find your own way and do the things that suit you the most. So, you know, some modelers like their models to be like really looking brand new, shiny. If that's their game, this is not the way they should do it. You know, but I look at those airplanes from the wars that these are the working horses. This is like a tractor or a bulldozer. You know, they didn't take care of it. When it was, they only maybe refueled it, checked the oil, put some new ammo in, and if they had time, they cleaned the windshield, and then the plane had to go to the battle again. So, you know, maybe for some squadron leader, they will clean it every once in a while, but other than that, these were workhorses. So we can try to achieve that as well. Sorry. So airbrush away for now. Okay. And we can now move on to the weathering. We have, I don't know how many products, let's try guess. How many weathering products do we know? Oils, washes, pre-mixed ones, acrylic washes. We have, I don't know, tons of them. And I tried quite a lot of them, and I stick with oils for a while now. Because I found them to be the easiest to manipulate and to work with. And when you are done with them, let's say you create a good wash, you weather your airplane, and a week later you look at your unfinished model and you don't like it, you can reactivate the oils and clean them, add them, remove them. With other, let's say, weathering agents, it's pretty much impossible, especially with acrylic ones. If you use acrylics, which are water-based, when the water is dry, you're done. You can't reuse it. I'll do this fast. These are oils, many of them. And these are washes. Again, I have a lot of them. And then we need a palette, we need an odorless thinner, and we need a few good brushes. I have different brushes for different applications. So this one is like super cheap one. I use it to mix paints in the airbrush, or to when I'm cleaning the airbrush, so I can let's say really scrub that. So this is like really cheap airbrush. Then I have an airbrush brush that I'm only using for oil paints, and this one is for, let's say, blending or stippling, and this one is also for, let's say, blending and general work. So these are pre-mixed, which is okay, but they tend to get old really fast. So the bottle will be still, let's say, almost full, but they will degrade in a year or two. So you will get grainy wash, and which looks terrible. And these are nothing more than these oils mixed with this, packed in this bottle. It's the same thing. But here you can control consistency. So this is mixed as it is. And here you can make it a bit more stronger, a bit more lighter, let's say more fluid, less fluid, more pronounced, less pronounced with these two. And we can use that for some other things as well that I will show you later. So first off, usually we'll go with panel line washes, which means that we will apply a mixture of, let's say, in my case, enamel-based wash into the panels, wait for a while, clean them off, so we will get more pronounced paneling and, let's say, rivet details and whatnot. But sometimes I will use like oil dots technique, which it came from Tanker, from AFM modelers, which means that I would like to manipulate and add some more variety, even more variety than I already have, into the base paint as well. And that means that I will apply small dots of oils, different ones, and then just blend them over the surface.
Also different colors.
Yes. So let's say for dark grays, I will use, let's say, I will use light gray or maybe sand, and maybe, if I'm really brave, this is Starship, which is like brownish black. And for the greens, I will use yellow. I will use, let's say, light green and maybe dark green. And for the blues, I will use like light gray, sometimes yellow, just a bit. Maybe some darker blue, but never white. Don't use black or white for washes. Never ever, because it just doesn't look okay. And you can see that from a mile away. Let's say you have a lot of really nice, like 172 scale airplanes, which are too dark because the modeler used like black wash. And then it just black overflows everything, and it just, the model appears really, really, really dark. So I don't have a hair dryer, but we will try to dry the wash anyway. So I will make wash. I will use the bottled one. For this one, I know that it's okay. And also with washes, as I mentioned, with manipulating and disrupting this different camouflage, I'm using different shades of wash for different panels. So let's say where the paint is dark gray, I will use dark green. I will use really dark green wash. Where there is like dark gray, I will shift more to like dark gray wash. I will not use the same wash for entire surface. I will try to use different ones for different surfaces. So let's say for dark green, I will use dark green wash, which is pretty easy. Just shake the bottle. You don't need a lot. I don't have a pipette, so this is a good trick, how to pour small amounts of any kind of liquid into the containers. Where are you? Here. Okay. Maybe this one is already grainy. If you see the grains? You see how this is like half-a-year-old bottle, and it's out with it. I won't use it because it will just make everything look terrible. And this is like what, €4? I will mix my own. So I will use like really dark green. And these are oils. You can buy them in, let's say, art store, like the bigger tubes, and they will last you a lifetime. And I can just use like dark green. And maybe I will mix it with maybe darker brown. And this is all the material I need, actually. And I will just mix it with I will just make myself you see there's no grains in there. And it will stay, it will not dry for like 1 day at least. You can leave it like this. If you don't have time, you mix your wash. I will just usually cover it with some sort of, I don't know, lid or paper cup, and it's okay to use it. It won't, and even if it dries, I will just add a couple of drops of enamel thinner, and I could use it. Yeah, I will reactivate it. And also I can adjust how strong it could be. It is. So for application, I will use like a finer brush, with more, I would say with more fine edge. Sorry, I need my glasses because I don't see. And you just try to not apply them. You can apply, some modelers will apply wash all over the model. I will just apply it where the rivets are, or the rivet lines. And as you might have noticed, the wash is not just flowing into the panel lines, but it's actually like, how do you say it? It actually smears because it's on the semi-matte surface. So it doesn't only it won't only stick to the panel lines and panel gaps, but also to the surface, And you could now easily. This has to dry, but we don't have time for drying. So I will just show you the method, and I hope you will get the general idea. I can now blend it. I can now remove it or add, and I will add more tonal variety to the surface itself. So I removed like 99% of everything that I just applied. But I will try to dry it. Yeah, I will use some air, maybe air from the airbrush or hair dryer, but these thinners actually dry pretty fast, so you can see it's already drying up. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave this to dry, and I will make a wash for the other half, for the grays. I will just add this. Okay, we'll finish this. And here is like. For the dark, for the gray, I don't have the correct colors, but I will mix myself a dark gray. So this is light and it's not the perfect one, but it will do. Let's dry this up. Usually it takes a bit longer to, you can do it fast, so maybe the result won't be as desired, but we'll see. Questions? So let's assume these are now dry. Hopefully they are. The washes are dry enough.
Do you wipe it with paper towel?
I prefer cotton buds, like the earbuds. But sometimes I will use, I don't know, just I will go by the feeling. We can try to wipe it off with paper towels. So I didn't put any, like, it's dry, I didn't put any thinner on it, because sometimes if you put thinner on it, you remove too much. But if you think that you have too much on it, you can. I will always keep some enamel thinner in my airbrush, and you can actually just mist it slightly with the enamel thinners, and then you can work on. Because if you for washes, if you, let's say, because we are putting them on a semi-matte surface, they will tend to bite much more into the paint. That means that they will be really harder to remove. So it's good to work in sections. So you start with, let's say, left side, you apply the wash, and then do this side, and then you do not cover the entire model with wash, because it might happen that it would be really hard to remove. So it's good to do, let's say, I will do now the bottom part, and then I will do the top sections the next day, just these two parts, and then one side and the other side. So it will take you like 4 days. But it's, I don't know, I don't like the wiping with any kind of, let's say, animal like thinner soaked in a paper towel, and they are smearing it and really wiping it hard with oil. Let's say usually they have all the antennas already, attached, and imagine you're going with with a nice big cloth over it. It won't work. But you can just mist it if it's too thick or too grabby. Just mist it slightly with the animal thinner and wait a couple of seconds, and you can work on it. Or let's say, or use just a small amount. If you need to do some like detail work, you use like fine brush. If you want to create, let's say, some areas that were dirtier, I would use like stippling brush. So I will just soak it in, let's say, in animal thinner. And you make it almost dry, and you just stipple it. You just stipple the area, and you will remove some of the washes or some of the dirt off. And you will create another texture by doing this. It might not look much, but
It looks how it shines on.
Sorry?
It looks how it shines on the.
Yeah. But you don't have a feeling that you are doing anything until it's dry.
Yeah.
Well, when it's dry, you will see like. Yeah, but it's a hobby. It's not a race. So that's why I let's say I will build 2 models a year. That's it. Not more. Maybe if I will push down to up to 3, but 2 is my maximum. Maybe it's not even visible now on the camera, but as I stipple it, you can see that even the sheen is different of the paint.
Yeah.
It kind of switches between. It's not like a uniform surface. It's
even better.
And this is what we want. We don't want uniform, like, overall look. That's why I'm not putting anything over. When I'm done with the weathering and when I complete the model, I do not seal it with any kind of like varnish. The last varnish that I will put on the model is the one that I'm using before I start applying washes. That means after I'm sealing the decals, that's it. I don't.
Actually, you don't seal the.
No. Why? Why? Because I won't. Like. It's not a toy. I will maybe grab it here, or maybe by the sides. Maybe I will put sometimes just a small amount of varnish on the areas where the model will be, let's say, picked up, like here. I will just so the washes and the dirt won't get removed. But why would I need another coat of protection at the bottom of the airplane? Nobody's going to touch it here,
Yeah.
And even if it's sealed, the dirt will gather on the model anyway, whether it's sealed or not. So why bother? It's just another layer, which is, in my opinion, useless. So I will reactivate it just now, just for a bit. And I'll just stipple it again, so we'll see what happens. So this is pretty much how it should be after the weathering. It's good enough for me. I would now, usually I will wait a couple of days and I will go over with, I forgot them, to bring them with me with acrylic pencils, with water-based, and do some tiny scratches here and there. Maybe do some silver, not silver chipping, maybe just on the wing or on the walkways. But with acrylic pencils, you can recreate really nice, like small scratches. You know, the scratches, they didn't go all the way to the metal, but just they scuffed the upper, like the upper surface. Mm-hmm. Because it usually, if the paint gets scuffed, it will be lighter at the bottom, where it gets scuffed. So you can create that by acrylic pencils, which is good because if you mess something up with them, you can clean them with water. And since we are using like oil or enamel-based washes, those washes...
Are you using the pencils dry or with water?
Mostly dry. This is like the final step in the weathering that I will do. I will, you know, we can do like, try to do exhaust tricks, but you know how to do them. Rarely, I don't think that I tried them using them wet, but I don't find that, I don't know.
How you do the exhaust, for example, if you want to create an airplane
with what, streaks?
Smoke with streaks, yes.
I won't use black. Okay. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I will show it. I will use, I airbrush it. I tried it. You have, you know, first of all, you have to get the idea how the airflow. You need a good photos or reference photos so you can see how correctly, you know, like on a.
Depending on the plane.
Yes. Yes. But I will do it. Usually, when I'm doing the exhaust, I will use two colors. So let's say really light, really diluted, almost black, and then some sort of tan or ash color.
Yeah, yeah.
Since we are at it and we have a lot of time. Ah. Note to yourself, never pour paint over your model. I will remove, usually this crown is not just like protective cap, but if you remove it, you can create much finer lines. Because it's just, I don't know, you can make like super thin lines. It's like, but for the huh?
Use it in the Mr. Paint
Yeah.
color?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. This was undiluted, so it's
Small pigment.
yeah, it's really fine pigmented.
Yeah, it's wonderful paint.
I used not many of them from MRP, but I tried it since many years, and I said it's a really good thing.
The biggest problem with painting exhausts is how to reach them. How to reach the area, because you know this cup is too big now, but just I would start slow, you know, build up slowly and use really with exhaust is like this. When you think it's not just good enough, it's good enough. It's easier to stop beforehand. I also got some ammo shaders, so this is water based, actually. So it's really pretty much the same. But if you mess this up, you can clean it off with water. So we'll try it we'll do some experimenting afterwards. I just got them yesterday, so I did not have a chance to try it yet, but
What the brand is this?
ammo shaders. It's like an acrylic, it's really similar to oils, but it's acrylic, so it can be reactivated with water.
Both of these are almost shaders.
Sorry?
This and others?
It's the same, just now they come in a bigger bottle.
Oh,
This is the old packaging and this is the new. It has more volume, so
And more.
yeah. I almost used all the black. So I will use, let's say, I don't know. Ooh, I really made a mess. Okay, ash grade's close enough. So it's not perfect, but for this demo it will be okay. And again, you don't need a lot of paint. This and with the let's say 10 color, I will just use it to do the highlights, like the areas really close to exhaust. This is usually the most nerve-wracking part of the stuff it like this.
good.
That's
You
I
are
think.
breathing differently.
Huh?
You are breathing differently.
Yeah, because I have to,
Hold.
yes, to hold the bread, because that way my hand it's steadier. Yeah, yeah, something like that. But this is just, it's a matter of, I would say, trying it out. It's good to have a test mule like this, and just never try a new technique on the model. Always have like some unfinished project like this, and do your experiments on that.
Theoretically.
Well, let's say, Schmeer, Revel. I'm sorry for the companies, but
You can buy the over trees for
or something like that. Yeah,
So it's
yeah. It's not. It doesn't even need to be like the proper airplane. Yes, for the exhaust, of course, but let's say for trying the camouflage on the wings, you just need a piece of
It's very
plastic.
interesting that you are painting the exhaust with black, because many years ago I built a Messerschmitt like that,
Just you can.
and I painted the exhaust with black.
Mhm.
And I got from the jury that, hey, it's not a diesel, it doesn't black.
That's not actually true. Depends of the fuel that they were using, because the quality of the fuel, the aircraft fuel was not
The same.
not the same. So they got some really bad fuel. It was either, let's say, too cold, and they were flying in cold conditions, and it produced like the fuel exhaust. It was badly. The engines were burning bad fuel, and they were running in cold weather. That created more soot. And let's say on the Russian front, on Eastern Front, in the winter time, most of the planes were black. Like the streaks were black because they were cranking up the engines at minus 35. No fuel burns good at minus 35, so they should prove you different, you know. I said, why not? I have photos. That's why you have. It's good to have a reference.
You will be there. You're there.
Yeah, but for me, it's more about tying all that techniques together into something that is visually pleasant. You know. Just start with if something is off during that steps, I don't know, while building it, while starting painting it, while weathering it, while putting decals on, if something doesn't look right to you, then it's not right. You know, like the contrast between two paints. If two paints complement each other, like, I don't know, British dark green and dark earth paints, if they don't look like nice when they're painted, they're wrong. Something's not okay. Doesn't matter if they are mixed and, like, let's say triple checked by I don't know which agency. If they don't look right, then they are not, and you have to correct them.
And finally, you have to be satisfied.
Yes,
Because
it's.
you're building the models for yourself.
And you know, when we are building and painting our models, we spend a lot of time watching them, studying them. You know, a judge will check it out for, like, I don't know, 10 minutes max, in different light conditions. Maybe he I don't know, he wouldn't like the model in the first place, or maybe he will know too much about the model. So we'll see each and every mistake that you don't even realize that you have made. So
You're absolutely right.
this is, you know, it's a subjective matter. If it looks good to you, then it's good. You know, whether you will get, I don't know, praises from the judges or the general public, then it's up to you. If you want to try to take that step and bring your model to the competition, then it's of course up to you. But you can build it as how you like it, and you build it for enjoyment, not for showing off. Yeah, we do that for showing off, but most of the hobby, most of the modelers, they don't. They build it for fun. So that's it. Anything else? Questions?
Yeah.
I would like to thank everybody for sticking with me and listening to my nonsense.
Thanks for the presentation.
I hope you learned something new.
That was very good. Yeah.
It was?
Yes.
Thanks. That's it. I don't know what else to say. Enjoy the last few hours of the modeling contest. Grab a beer.
I believe it's already over.
Then it's a beer o'clock. Well, see you around. Thank you very much.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Over and out.